Stiltsy in sheds, stiltsy in sheds, stiltsy in sheds. Sometimes we might have guests. Watch your step and your head. Stiltsy in sheds, stiltsy in sheds, stiltsy in sheds.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to another Stilts in Sheds. Today I've got Northeast singer-songwriter Andrew Cushin. It's a bit of an unusual and exciting episode actually, because only an hour ago I saw via Andrew's Instagram that his third single is due out. It's featuring and produced by none other than Noel Gallagher himself. Wild, isn't it?
It's pretty cool. Like, I'm still trying to pinch myself at how it's actually materialised from emails a year ago to now this. It's quite crazy.
It's crazy, yeah. So we'll pick up on that later on in the interview. It'd be remiss of me not to talk about that. But as you know, the concept of the show is that a creative from the Northeast brings in one creative thing, and then we break it down in the shed, dissect it, and find out where it's come from. So, without further ado, what one creative thing have you brought in for us today, Andrew?
I've brought in my latest single, which is called Waiting for the Rain. They came, walked in as strangers again, and I never knew you'd feel the pain, hanging on, don't feel the same, and I wanna try it, and I wanna light it up. I don't wanna hide it, I don't wanna lie my stuff. Oh no, I'm hanging by the fire, the flames are rising higher. Fire, the flames are rising higher again and again. You know, is it true that they came, walked out as heroes again, and I never knew how I'd feel. The pain, it started to heal, and I wanna try it, and I wanna light it up.
Class, man, brilliant.
Special.
Really good. So let's talk about that tune itself then. How did it come to be? What did you start with? Did you start with the music or the lyrics?
Well, I wrote that song is a poem originally. I was 16 years of age, and it started with a chorus. The verses didn't come for a while, and I'd occasionally I wasn't really playing the guitar at a point. I wasn't massively into music, so to say it wasn't a necessarily big aspiration of mine to do anything in music. And I was out with one of my pals in out having a couple of joints actually, and on the way back, half stoned, I picked up my phone and I'm hanging by the fire, the flames are rising high, waiting for the rain, which subconsciously meant nothing.
Yeah.
But the reason why I went out to get stoned on that particular basis was because so there was a bit of a big argument going on in the house between my mum and dad, and I just got in from school. I thought, I can't really be chill with this. Fuck it, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go have a good smoke. So I rang with my pals, basically just take your mind off it as a 16-year-old kid. And then when I got back, the chorus was written in my phone. About a day later, I learned a couple of extra chords. I wasn't brilliant at the guitar.
Yeah.
And I'd learned that the police had came to the house while I'd been out. So the first line of the song is, "It true that they came, walked in as strangers."
Yeah.
So the police coming in, and then in the last verse, is it true that they came, walked out as heroes against because they've left.
Nice, lovely, yeah.
Breaking up the argument, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah. And then the bridge bit, I want to try it, I want to light it up, was quite self-explanatory. I want to go try some green. I want to sort of light it up. I don't want to hide it. I don't want to light my stuff. Goes back to being the skint 16-year-old I was, where it's, I'll go smoke green, but I'm not smoking mine. I'll go smoke someone else's. Do you know what I mean?
Well, can we hear the first little bit of the verse?
Can I?
Yeah. So the bit you said about the police coming in and came as strangers, left as heroes. I really like that idea. So can we hear that little bit?
Is it true that they came? Walked in as strangers again, and I never knew you'd feel the pain. Hanging on, don't feel the same.
Yeah, beautiful.
So the line, and I never knew that you'd feel the pain. Hanging on, don't feel the same, goes back to obviously my mum and dad arguing, which, unfortunately enough to say, was quite a common and regular thing in our house. So it goes back to the line we walked to strangers again. So it, not necessarily thinking that my mum was hurting as much as she was, and sometimes hanging on to a relationship is worse than just pulling it off. So the line, sort of hanging on, don't feel the same. Yeah. Hanging on to a relationship isn't necessarily as beneficial as it was. Yeah. In the early days, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we've all got experience of that. So, chord-wise, what we got on there? Can I have a little look at them? We just play this first one, and then we'll look at the. We've got a verse, pre-chorus, chorus.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, classic Gallagher.
So you've got an A minor 7.
Yeah, lovely.
You've got an E minor.
Yep.
Sorry, so the verse is an E minor
yeah,
7.
E minor 7 shape, yeah.
You've got a G without the little sus. So is that G sus? Is that what you call it?
I've written down. I had a little look at these earlier. D sus 2. I got it down as.
Is for the D.
Yeah.
And then the G's It's not conventional G. I take the bottom.
Yeah, I think it would be a G7. I think.
A G7.
I think so. We'll go with that. If Noel's watching, he'll pick us up on that. I'm sure. Yeah.
And then the pre-chorus is a card 9.
Yeah, nice.
That's what it is on the record. When I play it live now, I just go with a normal C, because then I can.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's a little bit nicer to do it that way rather than have the card. I think it's a bit too.
Yeah. Give us a blast of the chorus then with those chords.
I'm hanging by the fire, the flames are rising higher. I'm waiting for the rain. I'm hanging by the fire. Flames are rising higher. I'm waiting for the rain. You know.
Nice, yeah. So it resolves on that G, doesn't it? Yeah. Some of the chords you can definitely hear them in maybe Oasis songs, possibly some Verve tunes. Yeah. So I guess you pick it up, don't you? If you've got a musical ear for it.
It just sort of goes back to what I listened to as a kid. When I'm writing songs, I was a massive Paul Weller fan and stuff.
Yeah, same actually, yeah.
And obviously when it comes to Paul Weller's songs, it's all lyrics.
Yeah.
Which I'm massively driven by, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would see the lyrics as more important than the actual tune.
So we're talking about Paul Weller. The first song I ever learnt was Brand New Start.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then I think followed closely by Lucky Man by The Verve, because it's the same chords, bar one. What was your first tune?
That, for Weller tune?
What was your first tune that you learnt on the guitar? Because everyone starts with one, don't they?
So the
they
first
bang
tune,
away over and over again.
It was Whatever.
Was it?
Yeah.
Great one. Some good movements in there.
That's it. But it's all... So your fingers always staying on the bottom two strings.
That's right, yeah, you just moved that top one, didn't you?
That's it. And me, God, I don't even know if I remember it now. And my dad, it was one of the few songs that my dad could play on the guitar. Whatever I choose, and I'll sing the blues if I want. It's quite easy, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's but yeah, that was the first song that I learned, like first actual song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So let's about Paul Weller briefly. Has been inspiration. Oasis, obviously.
Yeah.
Who else you listen to?
I was a massive Verve fan when I was a kid. Love Bob Dylan, love Donovan, Neil Young. Big J Bug fan. Bang into Paolo Nutini stuff.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I can hear a bit of that in that last one you played. Stretch, I think bands like the Stone Roses and stuff, it goes back to so what I said earlier, it's like songs that, so I was brought up listening to songs that my dad listened to, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So in our house it would be a mix of the Stone Roses and Oasis and the Verve and the Jam and the Who and the Beatles and Stones. Yeah. And then the next day we'll be listening to Pet Shop Boys. Okay, right. Do you know what I mean? Of course, the idea of the show is that we talk about the one thing, which is the tune. But I think we have to talk about your rise to being signed. So those who don't know, Andrew's just signed his first major deal.
I was signed a development deal. I think it's just over, maybe it's just under 12 months ago now we signed it.
And who's that with?
It's with Virgin EMI. So that's who the first... So the next single that's coming out on Friday, Where's My Family Gone?
Yeah.
Featuring Noel, produced by Noel. that comes out. It's the first one under the label. Right. So Waiting for the Rain, and it's going to get better. My first two releases, they came out under independent labels. Yeah. Right. So we're still under the AMI circle, but they were put out independently. Okay. Just to sort of put the feelers out around Newcastle, build a bit of hype. Yeah. That deal came about once again thanks to Noel. I was fortunate enough that when we went and done the recording, I was in there in 5 days, 5-6 hours every day, but I was fortunate enough that I got at least 1 or 2 hours on one of the days where it was just me and him, and I was able to just sort of open the eyes and just say thank you. Do you know what I mean? He's given me the opportunity now to change my life and to make a career out of music. But it came about, my manager knew him from years ago, and it was my second ever gig. And I was playing Waiting for the Rain, supporting an Oasis tribute band. Right. Which is quite, like, it comes together, doesn't it? Yeah. I was supporting a Geordie Oasis tribute band called Oasis.
That's brilliant.
Brilliant name, isn't it?
Yeah, that's great. I'd seen No Oasis when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
No Oasis, yeah.
And I was supporting them, and Lee came and he recorded Waiting for the Rain. Right. And I don't think he knew that was my own song. And I came back and he was going, what's this song? And I was going, I wrote it. Fuck off. Yeah. And I was going, no, I wrote it. And we sent it to Noel, and to my amazement and to Lee's amazement, I think he got back in touch a couple of days later, saying he likes it, and how we got everything else. So it gave me a bit of a kick up the backside. I went, one of my mates had like a little home studio, probably the same sort of size as a shed actually. Yeah. Put a mic in front of us. We've done a couple of rough demos. We sent them to Noel, and he went, right, I've got this lad called Ted. He's the president of Virgin EMI. I'm going to send them to him. I was like falling off my chair at this point. Yeah.
And how old are you then?
I was 19.
Right.
I was 19, and I was like still working and stuff, and we sort of didn't have a clue who this Ted fella was, and he said, well listen, he signed Amy Winehouse at Island Records. Wow. He signed Jake Bugg to Virgin, and he signed Lewis Capaldi. Right. Again, I was kind of thinking, fucking hell, it's quite crazy. So we went out to London. I wasn't actually signed with Lee at this point. Okay. It was just pals, so we got a rough contract drawn up so that we could make it official with me and him. And yeah, we'd done them about 6 or 7 songs. We left 2 weeks later. I was in Turkey. We got the phone call that we'd been offered a deal, and I was like trying to shout all these Turkish people, I've got a record deal. And they're like, no English.
Of course.
And then we came back, we signed a development deal, and then we got the ball rolling within, I'd say probably within about a month of signing that deal. I'd done 5 gigs.
Yeah.
I had 1 guitar, didn't even have a guitar tuner, and I was doing a UK tour.
Unbelievable,
supporting a band from Doncaster, and it was just, it's drastically gained momentum.
Yeah. It's a rapid rise, isn't it?
And it's absolutely amazing. I'm loving, and I'm so privileged, and I'm so grateful for everything that's coming our way.
What's Noel like? Talk to us about Noel briefly. I mean, we don't want to go too much about Noel. How was he in the studio?
Truthfully, he was amazing.
Yeah.
Trying to come up with the right words for it, but he was amazing. On our way down to the studio, me and Lee in the car briefly spoke about it and how to act and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we stayed in a flat rented by Gordon Smart and owned by Paul Weller's sister.
Right.
So we walked into this flat and there was photos of the jam everywhere.
That's wild, isn't
Crazy. And we sat and had a sort of conversation the night before, and we were thinking, listen, we've just got to play it cool, we've got to be nice, we've got to be respectful. And he came in and I was shaking like a shitting dog. And he came in, obviously this was pre-COVID days, so he came in, he went, "Oh, you Andrew?" He shook my hand, and he went, "Right, I've got to go for a piss." I was like, great. I was so in total amazement. And he came back and he sat in the mixing room, and we spoke about my little sister, we spoke about my mum, spoke about my family, spoke about Man City, about Newcastle, music, we just totally put us at ease.
Right.
And it then became about, right, we're here to do a job now. Do you know what I mean? We're here to make this song, Where's My Family Gone, as good as we can be.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about my mind, I don't want to be a fanboy with Noel. He's been a massive inspiration in everything I've done, but I don't want to be that kid in the corner.
I understand that.
That goes, "Oh well, Noel, does this sound alright?" Do you know what I mean? Because it was like, right, it's my song, I've got to stand up for myself here. I've got to go in there and I've got to put a good sort of shift in.
Yeah.
Which I'd like to think I've done. And obviously Noel gives a couple of pointers and stuff. He came in, that was a moment after I'd done a couple of versions of the guitar to a click. He came in, right, we're going to try something a little bit different. He went, "Give me the guitar." Hand me the guitar. And he went, "Right, you're going to stand up and sing it and I'm going to play it beside you."
Right.
So I've got a photo
Crazy, isn't it?
on my Instagram of me sort of standing up like this. Don't know if I'm still being shot, but I'm standing up like this. And Noel sort of sat there, and I'm standing up and I'm singing in the mic, and I'm occasionally just sort of looking down at Noel sitting playing a nice song.
Surreal, isn't it?
And it was just a surreal moment. That version's not used on the record, it didn't really work, but I think it was probably because I was forgetting words and stuff.
Noel Gallagher with a halo over his head.
That's it, thinking Noel sat with a guitar playing my song beside me as I sing it. It was absolutely crazy. But no, as a person, he was absolutely amazing. Yeah. And he's helped me out massively since we've left the studio. When I mentioned before, when we went down to London, we've caught up with him again. He gave us some guitar pedals,
right?
One of which has an Oasis like writing on, using Oasis days, amazing. And he's giving us advice about amps and guitars and gigging and stuff. Like he sends us good luck messages and stuff on doing anything important, and he's been a hero to me. Like he really has. That's and wonderful. As I say, I was fortunate enough to tell him that he's given me the opportunity now to change my life. Yeah. Which I'll forever be grateful for.
100%. What was his thinking, just out of interest in getting you to stand up and him to play? What was he trying to get out?
I'm not too sure. I think it was because them two first recordings, waiting for the rain to get better, they weren't even done with a click. Right. So after we signed the development deal, we went and recorded them songs straight away. I don't even think I went on the tour actually when I went to go record them. And I was such a novice in playing in studios, in playing to keys, and playing in tune, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So me and the producer Sean Ganocki sat down and we found out the easiest way to do this would be just do it live, give it 3-4 takes. Yeah. Your best vocal and your best performance, we'll use them takes. Yeah. So when I went to the studio with Noel, it was like, right, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do your guitar to click. Yeah. You're then going to do a guide vocal, then going to do the drums, we're going to do the bass, we're going to do the lead guitar, you're going to do a vocal at the end, and that's it done. Okay. And I was kind of like, well, I'm not used to doing this. He went, so we changed it, so we're done. So I played the guitar to a click, and I sang a proper vocal over it. Yep. In the first couple of takes, the click I wasn't quite in time with the click. Yeah. So Noel said, well, we'll still do it live. I'll just sit over here and play the guitar, and you sing it, so that there's no bleeding into the mic.
Okay.
Because obviously the problem is when you're
Yeah,
doing it
totally.
live, there's bleeding into the vocal mic, the guitar and all kind of stuff. So we tried that, and we done 2 takes of that, and then he went back into the mixing room, and I'd done a take of playing it to a click and singing, and I think that was the best one, so we used that.
Right.
But it was just a different way of trying to do it, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, playing to a click is really difficult. I find it really difficult. I think if it's the first time you've done it,
Yeah, well,
it can be really off-putting, can't it?
Well, that's it. And we were spoken to Noel about a week, 2 weeks before we went in the studio, and he said, "Listen, just download like a little metronome and just practice."
Yeah.
But again, being the novice I was, I didn't even know how to tap in the click track. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was tapping it in and thinking, well, I don't know where the beats are going to be on this song because I'll play a little bit how the song used to sound actually. Because it wasn't how it is now. So when the record comes out on Friday, you'll suss that a bit more. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit more beat now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's a little bit more beat, whereas I was playing to a click in the house, how I wrote it, so I was going. Do you know what I mean? It's really slow and melodic.
Yeah. And Noel's got that commercial ear, hasn't he, where he would say,
well, that's it.
do you know what, if you want this to be on the radio, maybe this will work.
Well, that's what he said, and I mean, he was open about it, and he said, listen, it's too slow. It's a great song, it's too slow. It needed an instrumental break, so we wrote one of them. Well, added another, obviously we just extended the chorus. So there was a lot of things that I wouldn't have had, if I just went to the studio, I wouldn't have had a clue about, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's talk about the guitar, because the guitar looks to me like, it's not a normal guitar. What was that? That was Andrew's manager there, just fighting on the chair, I think.
Breaking the chair. I mean, you can hear it.
Fucking hell.
So this is your own guitar, made for you?
It is, mate,
Custom
yeah.
guitar.
So this was made.
Let's have a little look.
There you go. So, do you remember
If you can see that on the camera, little
the
AC on that.
England
Beautiful guitar.
manager, Steve McLaren?
I do remember him. The Wally with the Brolly?
The Wally with the Brolly,
I do
that's
remember
it.
him, yeah.
His son, Sam, is a guitar maker in York who makes McLaren guitars.
Yeah.
And I went into a little workshop, which you can find actually on McLaren's Instagram page and on YouTube, and I actually played Where's My Family Gone. I played the old version.
Yeah.
And obviously he makes guitars and all that kind of stuff, so I was sitting playing one of his guitars, and he turned around and he went, listen, if you ever want a guitar made, let us know. And we came into a little bit of money with the record deal and stuff, and I had a Martin RS1, which, you know, it's a good guitar.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
£700-800 guitar, but quite obviously with it being a tremolo guitar, it's nicked in.
Yeah.
So the sound wasn't very big on stage.
Yeah.
And I'd just been confirmed for the Gosforth outdoor gigs.
Oh right, yeah.
Which fills 2,500, and I thought there's no way this little guitar is going to stand it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to need something a little bit bigger. I'm going to need a jumbo guitar, a dreadnought or something. So I got in touch with Sam and I went, listen mate, how much would you make as a guitar for? And he gave us a price, and at the time it would cost more than my car. But I agreed. And this is actually a replica of the guitar that I took to Virgin. So my dad's first ever guitar.
Right.
Which, I mean, it's such a sentimental thing now, but he got it. So my mum bought him it for my first Father's Day.
Oh, beautiful.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, right, that's off your son.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Obviously we've got the new single with Noel on the 16th, and then what's your plans after that?
I want to get back in the studio. I've got a couple of ideas to get down. We've got a couple of big tunes to do as well, but the problem with doing a big tune is you need a big budget.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you want, so Where's My Family Gone? Everybody who listens to it on Friday will hear that it's a really big production, and you can tell where the money's gone on that record. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a vast, it's a much larger big production than what I'd had on my first 2 records. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going back in the studio to get a couple of the more low-key songs done, a couple of the more acoustic songs done, get them ticked off.
Yeah.
If COVID hadn't have sprung, I would have been doing 30 festivals this year. So I was playing Leeds and Redden Festival, Isle of Wight.
Yeah.
We're playing Victorious Festival, Boardmasters.
Yeah.
This is tomorrow in town.
Yeah.
So it absolutely ridiculous. So I'll be doing them, but that's all next year. So we've got a big year next year, providing everything gets ticked off and goes all right. Playing at the Sage in December, that's still going ahead at the minute, supporting the Twang.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're just hoping that we can build a little bit more momentum. I mean, as I say, it's on a steady rise now.
Yeah.
But I'd like to think that once this song comes out, we can make it push that a little bit further.
Nice. Right, listen, thank you very much for joining us.
No worries, man.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time for another Stilts in Sheds. We're probably going to stick around and have a bit of a play with the guitars. That sounded fucking weird, didn't it?
A little bit
Sounded rude. We'll edit that bit. So yeah, we're going to stick around, have a bit of a play with the guitars. See you all next time for another Stilts in Sheds. Cheers, man. Thanks very much.
Stiltsy in sheds, stiltsy in sheds, stiltsy in sheds. Sometimes we might have guests. Watch your step and your head. Stiltsy in sheds, stiltsy in sheds, stiltsy in